Can you talk about the stablecoin? So we've come a long way from the omni-chain colored coin days where Tether was primarily kind of a token on Bitcoin. Now, of course, it's an ERC-20. It's across many chains as well. It's on Tron. It's on Solana. It's kind of spread throughout the entire blockchain ecosystem. There's about $100 billion worth of Tether. And so one Tether coin, one USDT equals kind of $1, right? So it's about $100 billion stablecoins. Owns about 70% of the market, I would say, in terms of the total stablecoin market. I mean, you correct me if any of these numbers are inaccurate. So it's come a long way since those early days. Can you just describe I guess what it is as a product today, right? So you described sort of the early days of 2014, and it was very useful because, the fiat banking wire system and ACH transfer system, that was slow, that was not updated, that was not suited to the fast-paced nature of crypto. How is Tether being used primarily today? Is it still kind of that use case? Have there been other use cases added to it? Just take us forward to 2024 and where USDT sits, what it's useful as.
Yeah, I would say that in 2020, there has been a turning point, not just for USDT, but in general for the entire world. So we have seen the pandemic. And with the pandemic, I think there has been an acceleration in the financial instability, especially in emerging markets and developing countries. So we have seen how there was an acceleration of the devaluation of national currencies. Let's think about the Turkish lira or the Argentine pesos. So right at that time, we started seeing the shift of the usage of USDT from being a settlement currency for crypto trading transactions to a checking account, basically. So more and more, USDT has been growing as the alternative to fiat money for all emerging markets and developing countries. So today you go in Argentina, you go in Brazil, you go in Turkey, Vietnam, Venezuela, and Middle East, all these countries, the communities in these countries, there is a lot, especially in South America and certain parts of Asia, you have more than 70% of the population that is unbanked. Not because they are bad people, just because they are not profitable enough for the banks and to bring the bank infrastructure. The bank infrastructure is outdated, relies on technology that was built 40 years ago, went through decades of rubber and bands patching. So it's extremely expensive to keep it running. And so the finances and transactions is an activity that is fundamental in people's life, in day-to-day people's life. So the usage of Tether grew so much there, and I wish I could tell you because that happened because we were really good and we had an awesome, strategy. Actually happened because USDT as a product is useful. So Tether didn't have a marketing team, before 2022, and so with that we didn't have we didn't have a business development team. So people started to use it just because they need a solution, right? So this was a life-saving necessity for people in these countries. I have a friend that lives in Turkey and told me multiple times that with the Turkish lira, even you are a father, you work the entire month or the entire year, and at the end of the year, if you save only in Turkish liras, you are poorer compared to the beginning of the year, just because the Turkish lira devaluates 80% against the US dollar. That is the measure for all the imports of any goods in the country. And so, of course, people are looking around. They are trying to find solutions to not get screwed by their government. And the same thing happened to Argentina. Now in Buenos Aires, you can see many places, many physical shops and online places are all accepting USD for the very same reason.
How does this work practically, Paolo, for people who can't imagine somebody using I think many people are in the West who have access to like a decent banking system. I mean, we complain about it, or there are a lot of problems, but they still generally are banked, the banked population in the world. I think they have a hard time putting themselves in the shoes of somebody who's using Tether as their checking account, as you said. How does this work in practice? Are they using something like, let's say, Ethereum, or maybe Ethereum gas fees are too expensive, something like a Tron, let's say, which has, I believe, over $50 billion worth of Tether right now on the Tron chain? Are they using something like that? And when you say they have a checking account, they're basically using their, Tron private key, public key as their bank account, essentially. And rather than use their local currency, whether it's the peso or the Turkish lira, they're just using Tether as kind of their unit of account and store of value and medium of exchange directly on a blockchain. Is that practically how it works?
So I think there are two types of users. There is the user that is a bit more experienced, and so is using he has downloaded a wallet on his phone. Could be MetaMask, could be Trust Wallet, or many other wallets that are fairly popular nowadays, Ledger, so on. And so those are the bit more experienced users that know how maybe to back up their private keys. And then there is, I would say, still the majority of the users that are using as proxy centralized custodians. So they keep the USDT on these custodians, and they are just using the custodian services to do payments. And there is a growing distinction also across people that use centralized custodians. So many we started seeing a growth of a user base that doesn't have an account with crypto exchanges for trading. They don't care about trading. They just get paid in USDT, and they would use that account on the exchange to pay in USDT, all the services and their bills. For example, in Brazil, there is something called Pix. That is a standard payment system that is spread in all shops, online and offline, and all the banks, right? So you can pay. It's basically a QR code that every single banking app in Brazil supports, and you can see that people have built bridges between the Pix system and USDT. So now there are apps that allows you to scan the Pix QR code and pay any invoice that in Brazilian reais through USDT. So they do the conversion, they do everything. And so now we have 60,000 ATMs in Brazil that allows to cash in and cash out USDT throughout Brazil. Wow. So, and it's all happening independently just because really people need these type of solutions.
So there's the two sets you said are kind of the crypto natives, which many Bankless listeners will probably be with their own kind of like crypto wallets, MetaMask account. But there's probably an even larger audience that is essentially using some sort of local custodial type service. And it sounds like there's some innovation going on where you almost start getting like fintech type of companies, like custodial type of companies, building solutions rather than on kind of the traditional banking layer in their jurisdiction. They're just doing this based on kind of like Tether and a blockchain, but because they're a custodial service, it's easier UX. They can kind of integrate into other areas of an individual's life, and you're starting to see some uptick on that sort of usage, and that's been unexpected. You said, Paolo.
Well, it's not that it's unexpected, right? So, but when I think how we started with USDT, thinking that fast forward a few years, the market cap of USDT is now 97.8 billion, is mind blowing, right? So we have our team extremely committed to the values of Bitcoin, of decentralization. And so we are just doing our best to keep bringing these values and philosophy with us throughout our journey, and even at a much bigger size like we are today.
To continue leveling up your crypto game, then you need to get on the Bankless newsletter. It's the world's most popular crypto email and is completely free. Just click below to sign up.